Welcome guys to a new video. Cube Warfare has gone another update, and let me tell you, this one is huge. There are a lot of changes that came with this update that I'll go through one at a time, so feel free to skip through to whatever part is more relevant to you, but I encourage you to watch the whole video. I have a lot of opinions about each change specifically. Also, do check if you're subscribed. It would really mean a lot to me if you are. I upload high quality content fairly regularly, but enough shameless advertising. Let's dive into this update. Gun game is a game mode where everyone spawns with the same gun, in this case the M1911, and every 2 kills you move to another gun. The sequence starts at M1911, then MP40, AK-47, M16, TAR-21, double barrel, AWP, then finally an iron sword. Upon getting 2 kills with the iron sword, you win the game. This is really awesome. Someone had suggested this to be added in the official Blocks Discord, and both them and I have been bumping the suggestion for a while now. Granted, they have been doing it a lot longer than I have. I'm really pleasantly surprised to see this added in the game. It adds a different way to play Cube Warfare and exposing players to every type of gun. It's a fun challenge, and I always enjoyed it when I played it in Crunker. At the moment, it is a team-based game, but you aren't able to actually pick the team you are on. This might just be an oversight, but hopefully the developers will fix this quickly, or change it to free-for-all, FFA for short. When I played it, it's typically FFA, so honestly, I think it'd be better if the developers just dropped teams entirely in gun game and just stuck to free-for-all. With this update, we also got a new map. The map is called Cabin, and it's a fairly small map. It's similar to Sienna as in it has 2 sides with spawn points, having 3 main paths to traverse to the other side. Each side has some housing where many of the spawns are. Personally, I enjoy this map like Sienna. I do understand where the developers are coming from for these recent maps. It looks like they want to be more like 2 teams working together to push on each other to gain ground until capturing the other side after a hard-fought battle. The issue is, players like me are basically a one-man army, and I can push on my own quite fast too. I think the map is just a little small. I can travel between each side in seconds. Overall though, I do like this map. More diversity in the maps is always great. I think they should make this map a little bigger though, if any change is going to be made, and maybe spread out the spawn points a little bit more, because right now I can just jump in there and stand in the center of one side and hit 3 spawn points at the same time. Just not ideal. The developers heard my plea and added map voting. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it actually happened. Just like every other game mode, you are now able to vote for the next map. But I think it's kind of bugged right now. Right now, when you try to vote for a map, it doesn't actually cast your vote in, and it just stays at 0. Then it randomly picks a map out of the 3 options because according to the system, nobody voted, even though in chat it says I submitted my vote. So right now the maps are still kind of random, but you can now see which out of the 3 you're gonna get. Hopefully the developers make a quick fix for that though. Otherwise, thank you developers for adding this. Oh my gosh, this is huge. This is huge. Upon killing a player now, they will drop an instant health potion that upon picked up will restore 25 hit points automatically, and the item will not persist in your inventory. This part of the update I have mixed feelings on. Firstly, it really buffed me as a player, because now I don't need perk to heal now and can replace it with air spring and still heal. This less buffs the beginners and strongly buffs pro players. This would allow me to post even better clips and make better shots, but it does seem a little unfair to players with a lower skill level. Heal now is basically pointless now, because I can heal without it. I mean, heal now does still have some use of course, but it's not really as worth it versus air spring anymore. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think this should probably be removed, even though it's a buff to me, so it can be a little bit more fair. The developers adjusted spawn protection upon spawning in. Your invincibility is still removed upon shooting, but now your spawn invincibility lasts 8 seconds. I don't really like this change. Now, some that may be watching this will think it's because I just love the spawn camp, but that's not really why. It's because it doesn't fix what they are trying to fix, and it's unbalanced. I understand that developers don't want players just instantly dying when they spawn in, but this doesn't actually change anything. It just makes me have to sit there and wait to kill them instead. This just slows down the gameplay and makes it harder to acquire more kills. Even worse is this doesn't fix players getting spawn killed. The skill gap is still there, but now I just have to wait. It's hard to balance between players that don't know how to sprint and players who amass over 100 kills a game. But honestly, I don't think there is really much the developers can do about that. They would realistically have to add skill-based matchmaking, which isn't an option. I would suggest the developers revert this spawn invincibility change. Upon ending a game now, there's a message that tells the players who won and who got the most kills on each team. In FFA, it just says who got the most, and in Gun Game, it gives you a small little leaderboard. There's not much to say about this, but I love this change, as it really highlights the MVPs of the game and makes winning the game feel more official. A small change the developers made is aim down sight, or ADS, is toggleable. Instead of you needing to hold down right click, you just click it once and it holds. With AWP, it untoggles when you shoot, and with other guns, it only untoggles when you untoggle it manually, reload, or run out of ammo. This change is terrible! Look, developers, I understand you're trying to make improvements here and there, but I honestly am not so sure how this is a benefit. This makes it far harder to make clean, controlled movements and shots, because one misclick gets me trapped until I untoggle it, and in a firefight, this could basically determine the fight. Please make this an option to turn off or on. It's a lot harder to quickscope now, because one tiny misclick could completely ruin my movement. I can't emphasize it enough. If developers are seeing this, and they are willing to change even just one thing, change this. This is really not a good change. Another small bug that came with this update is it seems like some of my headshots aren't registering. Never experienced this prior to this update, and I'm not really sure why it's happening, but I figure it's important to highlight this as well. You can see on screen that I am making the shot, hearing it register, but it's actually not registering. Overall, I really like this update. We got a new game mode, alongside quality of life changes. I think it just needs a little refining, but that's super simple. The developers are trying to make Cube Warfare more accessible, and trying to entice more players to play it. As one of the only consistent Cube Warfare content creators, I have to say, thank you developers. I'm very straightforward with critiques, but what's any update without some critiques? I'm just happy we are getting new maps and new changes to make the game feel more lively. Sometimes it can get a little repetitive, so these changes certainly give me more things to do. Plus, Gun Game gives me some great future video ideas.